What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your boy Dom with another video. As promised, we are doing Storytime Paranormal Part 4. You guys wanted it, you guys will get it. And you guys got it. So today we're going to go back. The last video was of us in the newer house. We're going to take it back to where everything started and begun. So one day my grandma wanted to connect with the dead, so she decided to go get a Ouija board. Well, you know how the story's gonna begin. Well, they got the Ouija board and they started playing it that night, and she and my mom and them were playing it, and they asked, was there anybody present in the house? And of course they said there was 3 men. The last man's name we don't remember. It was a weird name. But the 2 guys that we do remember, their name was Steve and Guck. Well, Steve and Guck, they've been there for a while now in the house, from what they say. And they've had a crush on my mom for months upon months by this time. They would tell us what she wore, the day before, or what she wore a week before, on what day and whatnot, and they would describe, where her freckles were. She had a lot of freckles. Detail spots, exactly where her freckles were, whatever part of her body. That's what they told. So, and they told us what kind of perfume she wore, what kind of shoes she wore, what was her favorite shirt, what was, everything. They knew everything about her. So that night they was asking Steve, because Guck had went somewhere, or he wasn't present in the room from what Steve said. And they were like, well, Steve, what are you doing later on tonight? Just to, it's a normal conversation, asking somebody what they're doing at night, even if it's on the other side. And he said, well, I'm gonna kill Guck. And they were like, huh? You're gonna kill Guck? And he said, yes. He said, well, me and him have, a thing for my mom, which her name was Lori. They said they had a thing for her. And they said both of them couldn't have her, so one of them had to, be dealt with. And we asked him where the, what he was going to use and where it was at, the location. And he said the knife underneath the kitchen sink. Well, when, later on, they was like, no way. So they looked underneath the kitchen sink, and sure enough, there was a knife there. Well, the next day, they wanted clarity. It was only Steve, because of course, from what he said, he killed Guck. And they were talking to Steve. Well, Steve, they asked Steve, they said, can you give us clarity and, let us know that you really know what's going on? And he said, sure. So they asked him, has he known anybody that's died recently? And he said, yeah, and he gave the name. The name he gave was Fred, with an E. The middle initial was an E, and the last name was Wright. So they said, Fred E. Wright, right? He said, look in the obituary tomorrow in tomorrow's paper. And they was like, oh, alright, we will. So they woke up the next morning, looked in the obituary, looked up the name, and sure enough, that name was in the obituary the next day, Fred E. Wright. And if that's not weird, I don't know what weird is. It was really crazy. So, my aunt, she's the youngest out of the group. She didn't play Ouija board, but they started messing with her. She was in her room walking through the hallway, and she seen 2, she said, hideous monsters. We don't know what they were. She wouldn't describe them to us, but she said 2 hideous monsters. She went crying, yelling and screaming and crying to her mom, which is my grandma. She went and cried and told her what was going on. And she was like, alright. And she, she protected her and held her, was there for her. And then the next day, the same thing happened. But this time it was in the living room. The living room by the couch. She seen the monsters again, and at this time my aunt was crying, you know, screaming and crying to my grandma again. And my grandma said, well, we're gonna go up to your grandma's house, which is my great grandma. They went up there, and you know, my great grandma, she's always at church, always attended church. Every single day that there was church, she was there. And they went up there and prayed about everything. And my aunt was like, they're coming, they're coming. And they were in the living room. And with the door that they have at her house, it's a screen door, and then it's a glass door. Like, you know what I mean. It's a screen glass door. But they, she said, they're coming, they're coming. They got to the stairs, and they disappeared. And she said, they're not there no more. So the prayers worked. Now that was crazy, but that was it with my aunt. My little aunt. Now I have an older aunt. She was in her teens. She's like 15 or 16 at the time. She was the oldest out of the kids. So she got out the shower. Let me tell you how the rooms was. So the master bedroom was all the way over here. Then the bathroom. And then once you come out the bathroom is the kitchen. And there's a room on this side that my aunt, my younger aunt, lived in. And then you have the kitchen, like I said. Then you have the dining room / living room. And once you go through there, you have like a foyer area. You go through the foyer area from that. And then there's a room on the outside. It's like a separate house, but it's a room. You know what I mean. But she got out the shower one night. And she walked in the kitchen, and she stopped dead in her tracks. She seen a man. He was wearing leather boots. He was wearing jeans. He had a Barracuda jacket on, and his hair was slick, like grease in it. So she said, I think it's a biker. I think it's a biker. It was a biker, and he was a ghost. Like, and she was petrified ever since then. And she still tells stories about it. Like, it's still clear as day to her. It's still like it happened yesterday. But that's the only experience she had. Well, one night, Granddaddy and Grandma, they went to the store. It was like 5 minutes down the street. And all the grandkids were at the house, you know. We was always there, spending time with Grandma and Granddaddy, because that was our favorite place to be. Now, mind you, there was 10 of us. So we're all sitting there, you know, and they said, we're about to go to the store. And we was like, all right, cool. So our great grandma up this, you know, up the driveway, she would, you know, look out for us, come look at us, watch us if we needed her to. But, you know, she didn't think, because there's 10 of us. We didn't need to be watched. We were always getting along together and, you know, doing this and that together. Playing video games, playing board games. It was always chilling. So we were in this room over here that I told y'all about. So the bathroom, and then the room right here beside the bathroom. Not the master bedroom, but the other bedroom. We were in there playing video games. We were playing board games, talking to each other and everything. Well, the kitchen, I didn't tell y'all this. The kitchen has a big window. It's wide. And you can see right out of it. But there's woods. When you look out the window, it looks like, you know, as if a cemetery. You know how a cemetery is. Most of the time a cemetery is in the woods. A lot of them that I've been to has been in the woods. That's what it looks like. The setting looks like that. So, we heard knocking on the window in the kitchen. And we all got up, you know, after 3 times of something knocking. And we looked. And it was a claw. We don't know what it was. It was a claw, a bloody claw. I wouldn't say it was a chicken claw. It was a little bit bigger than that. And it was weird. And we was like, oh, heck no. So we all went back into the living room. And we all like bundled up together and was cuddling together pretty much. Trying to, you know, keep each other safe. until Grandma and Granddaddy came home. Well, Grandma and Granddaddy came home and we told them what happened. And Grandma and Granddaddy was like, no, we don't believe y'all. We don't believe y'all. And then we was like, how y'all not going to believe us? We wouldn't be sitting here scared. Some of us are crying and telling them what had happened. And they finally believed us. So that was that. And they knew they opened the doorway. My granddad didn't. My grandma opened the doorway to evil spirits or good spirits. We didn't know which was coming to us. But anyways, my older cousin, she's like 4 or 5 years older than me. So she was a teenager at the time. She was at Grandma and Granddaddy's house. They weren't home. Nobody was there but her at the time. So she was coming out the room, the little play area room that we had, not the master bedroom again, but the other room. She heard somebody knocking on the window in the kitchen again. And we have a curtain on the kitchen window, so you have to pull it back. And she pulled it back, you know, and she said she seen a man. It was a man's face. He was all bloody. His face was all bloody. His head was busted open. And his hand had blood all over it. Well, she seen that and she got terrified. She went and hid in the bathroom until Grandma and Granddaddy got home. Well, Grandma and Granddaddy got home and she told them what had happened. And they said, are you sure that happened? And she was like, yes, why would I lie about that? You know, crying, of course. And Granddaddy and Grandma started investigating the window and looked. And sure enough, there was a handprint on the window with blood. And then it looks like somebody like smudged it. I guess his head was against the window. And there was blood on the window, like in the shape of a face. And it was just crazy. And I mean, that's going to end the video. So if you like the video, please comment, like, and subscribe. And if you guys want another video, please get this video to 200 likes and we will do another video. Thanks for watching. Your boy Dom is out.